Welcome to the Somos Sunnyside podcast, brought to you by the Office of Public Information, where we are sharing stories about the bright side of education.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. I'm your host, Jose Gastelum, the proud superintendent of the Sunnyside Unified School District. And it's that time of year. It's that time of year where we are celebrating our students, celebrating their recognitions, celebrating where they're going to college. And so that's why it's definitely my favorite podcast. So to my prior podcast individuals that have been on my show, I apologize, but I love really having students on the show. And today, our guest is a student from Sunnyside High School. She is a senior, and her name is Jeanette Mendoza. So welcome, Jeanette, to the show.
Hi, Mr. Gastelum.
How are you? You doing good?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, so the countdown is on, right?
Oh, I'm so excited. Less
than a month of school left, and graduation's coming up, and we're celebrating all these end-of-the-year ceremonies, right? Just recognizing students. The accolades are coming in, and that's really why it's my favorite time of year, because it all comes together, right? All the years that you have spent as a student working hard, it's come to fruition. And so, you know, you're on this show because you've earned some really nice recognitions that we're going to talk a little bit about here soon. So has it hit you yet that you have a few weeks of school left and you know, those 12, 13 years go by fast, don't they?
Yeah, it's hit me like time and time again. Like, I'll just be driving in my car and I'm like, I'm graduating in like this many days. I only have like this month left. Or like when they have the countdowns, because teachers are already starting to have countdowns on their boards, 16 days. And we're like, oh, it's kind of crazy, but
some of them are ready for summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, no, I don't blame them. They worked very hard, and I think we all look forward to the summer, get a little bit of a break. And so our teachers deserve it, our students deserve it, and some of us are 12-month employees. So, you know, we will be here grinding away. But let's get to it. I really want to talk about this prestigious scholarship that you have just received. And I do want to point out that we've had, you know, former Sunnyside graduates earn this scholarship as well. And so I'm glad to say you're not the first, but I'm glad to say that you have received it, because, you know, we have students that in the past that have worked hard and were well deserving of this scholarship. And so the scholarship is called the Flinn Scholarship, and it's an Arizona scholarship. They only give out 20 scholarships to the top Arizona seniors. So 20 top Arizona seniors receive this scholarship. And when you think of the state of Arizona and think of all the high schools and think of the thousands of students out there, and you're one of them, Jeanette. You are one of those 20 students. You know, and I'm reading this off their website. This is the state's most prestigious merit-based award, full ride scholarship to any Arizona public university. And so you get your choice in university, and I believe it's approximately $135,000 scholarship over 4 years, which includes all your tuition, fees, housing, meals, and at least 2 study abroad experiences. Wow, that's a mouthful. Yeah. So congratulations. I mean, how did it feel to, you know, receive that? Like when you applied for it, did you feel confident? Did you say, hey, I got it in the bag, I'm one of the top 20 seniors? And you know, and so what were your feelings going into it, applying for the scholarship? Because I know that you guys hit that time of year, seniors hit that time of year where you're applying, right? You're just applying for scholarships left and right, and you want to get that financial support, you know? And so talk to us a little bit about the process, what you had to go through, the interview, and then we'll get into the day you got the news that you were one of the top 20 Flinn Scholars in the state of Arizona. Yeah. Does that sound good?
Wow.
That sounds great, right?
It's definitely something that has been a really amazing experience. Honestly, starting out, I know that I had wanted to really try and look out for scholarships. And when I heard of Flinn, I thought this would be an amazing opportunity. especially considering the plans and the things and my goals. And so I had applied, and honestly, when I sent in that application, I put my heart and soul into those essay questions just to be, myself, and I just kind of left it up because at that point, it's like you turn in your application, they don't really get to speak to you then. So it's kind of like a little bit nerve-wracking because you're like, I have to show myself on a piece of paper. But that apparently came through in my writing, and when I first got that email that I was a semifinalist, I was so ecstatic. I was with my family, and I was like telling them, like, even just being a semifinalist, like considered by Flinn, was just crazy to me.
That's an honor in itself,
it's
right?
an honor in itself, because even those like 70 plus students that were selected as semifinalists, we then had like connections to Flinn Scholars. Like we had Flinn Scholars emailing us with their information about the schools that they went to, opportunities to speak with them on Zoom calls.
Oh, wow.
And that was amazing. I was able to schedule a couple, and I was even able to contact Yaritza, who is our previous Flinn Scholar, I believe in 2022.
Right.
Forgive me if I'm wrong.
Yaritza Durazo?
Yes.
Right? Yaritza Durazo, yep, I remember the name.
And so, like, just being able to speak to them was, like, crazy. I was like...
Yes. So that's cool. So you became part of the Flinn family, right?
Yes,
because
just with being a semifinalist.
So what are the requirements to be eligible? Is there requirements to be eligible to apply? Mm-hmm. Because I want our young listeners out there, other students, our up-and-coming students that are going to be in this position, in the next couple years, or even if you're an incoming freshman, how important it is to have a good GPA, take the rigorous courses, and prepare yourself for these very moments. So talk to us a little bit about that, and then talk to us about the criteria.
Well, if I remember correctly, because I did start this whole process back in like October, but there is like GPA requirements, so I think it's around a 3.5, as well as you want to focus on getting an ACT score of 22 or more, or an equivalent SAT score, because this is an academic scholarship, so it's a merit scholarship, and so that's kind of a big aspect of it that you want to strive for. And other than that, though, I don't think there's any other heavy requirements. You just want to kind of do what you can to prepare yourself. So throughout like my whole high school experience, I knew that I wanted to go to college debt-free. So I worked hard. I participated in extracurriculars, things that I enjoyed but also gave back to our community. So it's just kind of focusing on those kind of aspects and highlighting that in your application.
Yeah, so I'm glad you threw in that piece of it being a merit-based scholarship, because this is one that you all students earn scholarships, but this is one that you truly have to compete for, right?
Yep.
When it comes to the GPA, it comes with a certain ACT, SAT score, your essays that you had to put thought into, and they look at extracurriculars, they look at community service, they look at the whole student, which I really appreciate, right? And so, it's such a huge honor, and I'm also aware that not only did you get the Flinn Scholar, but you got the National Hispanic Recognition Scholarship of $18,000. You got the Elisa Gastelum, the late Elisa Gastelum Scholarship, and no relation to me, although I'm a Gastelum, she's a Gastelum with 2 L's, but I know the family very well, and they do such a beautiful thing in honoring their daughter, and that scholarship goes to, and we'll talk about extracurriculars because it goes to a mariachi student as well, and you're also a mariachi student, so that was $1,000 scholarship, and then the Sunnyside Foundation has Dollars for Scholars, and you got the Verigi scholarship of $5,000. So, if my math is correct, we're talking about $159,000 that you've earned in scholarships, man. So it's just wow. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
And so I love it because, you're a Sunnyside student, through and through, homegrown. And so tell us where you went to elementary. Tell us where you went to middle school. Any shout outs to teachers? Because they love that. They want to hear their name because all your teachers were a part of this. It's just not your high school teachers. It's your all the way from preschool to kinder to, elementary school, middle, high school. And so tell us about your journey a little bit.
You left me with such a hard part, though, because I have so many wonderful teachers throughout my years. I went to Liberty Elementary, and that's also, interestingly enough, the school that my dad worked at because he's a teacher. So I actually did have him for English for a year.
We'll give him a little credit.
Yeah, we'll give him a little credit.
Right.
He's definitely helped me a lot throughout this journey. But I would also like to speak out talking about my son teacher that I had in elementary school, Mrs. Marianne Landreth. She was really special to me. She gave me so many opportunities. She's actually the person who first encouraged me to go into STEM, which is what I'm pursuing and what I'm going to go into at the university level. So I like to definitely give a big shout out to her. And then middle school, I went to Lawfer, which is really interesting because I went from Liberty to another side, which was Lawfer. And I also had Miss Nichols there, amazing STEM teacher.
Nichols,
yes, absolutely loved her. Gave me so many opportunities to also come back and
Future
mentor.
Cities, you did all those programs,
yes.
huh? Those are awesome programs.
I absolutely love those programs, and also a big shout out to my orchestra teacher who helped continue my music journey, Mrs. Halko from Lawfer, and so many other teachers that I have. I just give a big shout out because they're partly the reason why I'm here. Absolutely.
And I'm going to age myself here, but, when you spoke about your dad earlier, your dad was my former student in high school, Anthony Mendoza. And your mom was also a student at Sunnyside High School at the time, yes. Suzanne. I don't know if she had my class. She's going to kill me if she did, but I know Anthony did because I used to, we used to talk a lot, and he used to give me a hard time. He still does. Your dad still gives me a hard time. I'm kidding. So, I'm sure they are, beyond the moon when it comes to, how happy they are for you in terms of how things are working out for you. And this was earned, this wasn't given, this was earned by you. Not only are you a great student, you come from a great family of educators, both your parents are teachers and they're teachers in the district. Your grandmother, Miss Eva Dong, was a long-time standing board member here at Sunnyside. And your aunt and uncles work in the district. Mm-hmm. Miss Kathy Dong, principal at Gallego Intermediate, and then Daniel Dong, who's now at Sierra. And so, I'm sure they're all proud of you. I mean, you are the model student. When we look at our graduate profile of, those students graduating with a strong sense of identity, purpose, and agency, and you fit that mold. And so, tell us a little bit about how you got into mariachi, because I've heard you sing at many, many events, and you do such an awesome job singing. And so I didn't think you'd be nervous today on the podcast because, you got a mic in front of you. So, I mean, we might even have you sing a little bit. I might even join you, but no, we're not going to take it that far. But anyway, tell us, what I want to know is this, because I think it's important for students to hear this piece of why is it important for you? Why is mariachi important to you, right? Mm-hmm. In your case, it's mariachi. I always talk about school connectedness and how for other students it's other things, but for you it's mariachi. And so tell us about your journey. Like why did you get into mariachi? Why do you think it's important to get involved in school, right? Mm-hmm. And so how has that helped you in your journey into now earning these prestigious scholarships?
Well, when I first started out, I actually did not want to do mariachi. My family, they played, my cousin, he was in mariachi. My tío taught mariachi. And I think for me, I kind of wanted to be the kid who didn't follow their family and paved my own way.
Yeah, that's right. And you are.
And then my mom, because I had tried orchestra, and I had loved orchestra, loved playing the violin in elementary school, and my mom had suggested that I try it, right? And I think that's what with a lot of things is you won't really know until you try things. And so I tried a summer camp, actually, at Sunnyside High School. So it was the Sunnyside District Mariachi Summer Camp, and that's when I fell in love. I was just taken by it.
Was it the attention when you had that first, you sang that first, you're like Selena Quintanilla, right? You sing that first song and you get all this attention. Was it, be honest, was it the attention?
It was partly.
A little bit of attention?
It was partly.
Because when you grab the mic, you demand attention of the whole room. And I've been there for it. And and it's just another great talent that you have. So
Well,
that is cool.
It definitely combined both of my loves of playing violin and of singing. So that's when it really just kind of it took off.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and we're gonna go to a quick commercial. Don't go away. We got a lot more to talk about with Jeanette Mendoza.
Sunnyside students can have it all, learning and growing to graduate college, career, and community ready. Don't believe us? Just watch. At Sunnyside Unified School District, we are preparing our graduates with real-world skills and experiences. Our graduates are leaving Sunnyside to pursue an Ivy League education, becoming collegiate-level athletes, and earning prestigious scholarships such as the Gates Millennium, Dell, and Dorrance.
All right, we're back. So we were talking about your why mariachi and how you got involved in mariachi and what that's done for you, just getting involved in extracurricular activities. And so we always encourage students to get involved in school, whether it's music, sports, a club. There's now college and career academies at high schools, and so there's a lot going on. There are a lot of choices, right? I always believe that it's our choice to prepare students, our choice to put students in a positions to make a choice, right? And then from there, I think students, as they're graduating, they have a choice. You go college, you go career, or you do both. And so, obviously you're going the college route. And so my question to you, because I wasn't that, you got like a 3.7 GPA, ranked 4 in your classes.
It's actually a 4.45.
Or 4.4. I stand corrected. A 4.4 GPA. I think the requirement for this Flinn Scholarship was something like that, right? So 4.4, I stand corrected, GPA, and I've never had that. Ranked 4th in your class. So if you're a 4.4, man, and you're 4th in your class, wow, there's some GPAs that are way up there.
Oh yeah.
And
My
so
friend is one of them.
that tells me that you're taking the rigorous courses, the AP courses, honors, the dual credit courses. But my question is this: to all you smart people out there, you 4.0s and your 4.4s and your 4.6s and all that, like, when did you know, like, I'm just smart? Like, it comes easy to me. I just have it, right? Like, I'm in the zone. I'm because, I was an athlete, and I think athletes will say, like, it happened in this moment where I knew I was special. I was different, right? And I'm not speaking for myself because, I'm not a pro athlete, and that's why I'm doing this job. But for you, when did you know? Like, when did it hit you? What grade? Was it a special moment where you just said, like, I'm different. I'm special. I'm pretty darn smart.
Well, I would say, throughout my entire life, though, I've always enjoyed learning. So I think, like, when I was in school, like, even in elementary, like, I found things, like, so amazing that it just kind of came a little easier. But also at the same time, like, even though I've been able to process things easier, it's all been as a result of my hard work, I think, mainly. Because when you actually, like, dedicate yourself to something and you really try, you find it a whole lot easier. Especially when you enjoy, like, learning about something, you find it a whole lot easier to understand it and to remember it. Why? Because you care. And I think that's really one of the reasons why I've gotten to where I've gotten, is because I'm able to learn and to remember. And even if I might struggle, that's part of what makes it exciting. So, like, even physics. No one loves physics.
You find
class.
Struggle exciting.
Yes.
Wow.
It should be.
You are wired a little differently. No, I really appreciate your answer of, one of the things we try to push in our organization with our leaders in our schools is, and you hit it right on the nose, so it tells me that, we are reaching students to be a learner. You said, I love to be a learner. And, and I think to develop as people, to develop as leaders, you can never stop learning, right? No matter what age you are. And so it's just such a mature response from you, and a humbled response from you to say, I'm a learner and I work hard, right? And I like the idea of struggle, which I still don't, I'm trying to wrap my head around that one. But to me, it sounds like you like the challenge and you want to get to a solution, right? So when there's struggle, you want to know why. And so, you're spoken like a true STEM student, right? It's you want to know the reason, the root cause of things. And so, it explains why you've been so successful in the classroom and even outside of the classroom, with mariachi and some of the other things you do. And so that says a lot. So for the students out there listening, I hope we this podcast should have a bunch of likes and spreads and views because there's such good information here coming from Jeanette. And so, one of the things we haven't discussed is like, where are you taking your talents to? Now we're talking like you're the number one draft pick in the NFL draft, or you got to pick a college, right? High school recruit, and where are you taking your talents to? Where are you going to study? What are you going to study? Like, what are your goals, down the road? Now that you have all this money, and you don't have the headache of having to pay for school because it's taken care of. Like you've hit the lottery here. So tell us what your plans are.
Well, I am going to be attending the University of Arizona next year. So go Wildcats, bear down.
Go Cats.
Yes. And I'm also going to be studying biomedical engineering, possibly double majoring in molecular and cellular biology. I really love science, and I'm looking into research at the U of A. I had the opportunity as being even just a Flinn finalist. We had visits, and I had the chance to actually go into the U of A and see some of its big programs, and just listening to some of its medical research, looking into reconnecting nerves, as well as like health and other medical related like technologies. I think would be really amazing for me to go into. I'm hopefully gonna look into starting my own biotech company.
Oh, there you go.
So I can do research as well as provide treatments, clinical applications, stuff that can help people. And through Flinn, because I'll have a lot of it, the tuition and fees covered, I can spend also like my free time with my community. I'm like super excited. Hopefully I can go back to also with Miss Nichols and continue to like go back to mentor the Future City students. And I also have connections with SARSEF, so they always have a bunch of programs with students because I always love working with students and trying to get them in STEM as well.
So spoken like a true scholar, right? Wanting to give back and it just, gosh, you're probably gonna have to be our poster child now for our graduate profile because for us, it's our students graduating college, career, and community ready, right? And so, you're not only are you graduating college and career, but you're graduating community ready, wanting to give back to those who served you, right? Yeah. And so that's what it's all about. It's giving back and paying it forward. And so biomedical, biocellular, did I say those right? I mean, you're definitely challenging yourself, right? And you're doing it for a good cause because you want to do it to create change, in the world, to help people in this world, and you're going to make a lot of money, right? I mean, is that part of the plan? I mean, you can be honest.
That is the like side effect of working. Like, I don't know how else to word that, but it comes after. So first is going for your goals.
I'm just seeing dollar bills, like ching, 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 just dollar bills because you start your own company and you do this and you're creating change and you help cure some people, you're gonna, I mean, I know the gratification is gonna, for you, it's about the gratification of helping others and creating change. I get that your passion is the research. And so it was probably inappropriate for me to bring up the money, but I think you're going to make a lot of money. I really do. And then you're going to donate to Sunnyside, right?
Yep.
And then Dollars for Scholars. And we're going to have a Jeanette Mendoza scholarship worth $100,000 or something like that. So, wow. There's so proud of you, Jeanette. You got your head screwed on right. I mean, you have so many opportunities down the road here. And we know you're going to be successful. We can't wait to see, when as the years go by and you graduate and to see what you're doing, because we know very well you're going to be successful. It's just a matter of, where you land and what you're doing, 4 or 5 years from now. And so, my question to you is what message do you have for students? Like, so for students coming into high school, for younger students, like what message do you have to them? What words of wisdom do you have for them in terms of their experience and what they should take advantage of? And so What do you got for them?
There are so many things I could probably say, but I am probably gonna end with saying this. Don't be afraid to go out and try things. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I know sometimes, like, either we want to stay where we're comfortable, but really go experience things. You only have one life. You only have, like, even though your journey might go in a bunch of different paths, still go for it. And even if it fails, keep going, because that's just how life is. And so throughout your whole entire life, not just in high school, when you get to college or your career or wherever you go, just keep trying, just keep going. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I took away and to continue taking away.
Yeah, it's a great message and well said. And so you heard it, students. Don't be afraid to take risks. We learn from our failures. That's when we fail, we're learning. And so, you heard it here from Jeanette, someone has been super successful and will continue to be successful. And so, we are so proud of you, Jeanette. One last thing I will say, I'll give you the opportunity here to anything you want to say to anybody in particular, any shout outs, any message to someone special, is there a significant other? Is it, little, you want to sing or, whatever you want. This is your show.
Well, I'll be honest. I got a little sick over this last break because I was just at the mariachi conference, and so everybody's there. So I don't know about singing right now, but I would like to give a huge shout out to my family. They're the biggest reason why I'm here. My dad, my mom, and my brother. I absolutely love my brother. I'm going to make sure I give a shout out to him. Right. But they've definitely helped me and given a lot of inspiration. They're great role models, and so I have them to thank.
Oh, good. That's so sweet. And you scored some major points with them right there. But no, and all kidding aside, I see your parents glow, when they talk about you and your grandmother and the rest of the family. And so they have a lot to be proud of. I mean, and you've made them super proud. I think you can, walk away from graduation knowing that, you did what you were supposed to do as a student, and you took advantage of all the opportunities. And that's why you're in this position. That's why you're receiving over, nearly $160,000 here in scholarships. And you've earned them. You have earned them. And don't let anybody ever tell you didn't. And so, here's just another great story of a Sunnyside student that's going to go out and do amazing things. You're an example to the rest of the community. You're an example to the rest of our students, the other, approximately 14,000 students in this district. And it just proves that when you work hard, you put your mind to it, and you want to be a learner, that you can achieve what you want. And so congratulations. We are so proud of you. We can't wait to see, what the future holds for you. And we will see you at graduation.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. This concludes this episode of Somos Sunnyside. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Somos Sunnyside. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and found it entertaining. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and share our podcast with la comunidad. For updates on future episodes and more, be sure to follow us on social media and visit our website at susd12.org. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you back for the next episode. Hasta la próxima vez en Somos Sunnyside.